But you're telling us tonight that Mr. Boehner has fallen short on creating jobs. I mean, he has not offered a jobs package in all of the times that he's been running around the country for the last 3 years asking the president where are the jobs. What's your response to that?
My response is Speaker Boehner has the obligation, duty, and responsibility to Ohioans to create jobs and work for this president. And the more they sidestep, more they duck and dodge this issue of jobs, the worse off Ohioans are. He's representing Ohio. We got to make sure that he's working with the president, because this is something that's important. We need jobs. It's real simple.
No. Michael Coleman, mayor of Columbus, Ohio, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much. Let's turn now to MSNBC political analyst and Bloomberg View columnist Jonathan Alter. Also with us tonight, Katrina Vanden Heuvel, editor and publisher of The Nation magazine. I just want to ask both of you the same question. And you first, Katrina, what is the upside for the Republicans to obstruct this?
You know, Ed, I just want to step back for a moment, because I think we're at a turning point in this country. If you look at this Republican Party, this is a reactionary extremist Republican Party. As you said, its first goal is to defeat President Obama. But generations in this country have grown up with reforms of the New Deal, of the Great Society, humanizing reforms. They've given people opportunity and mobility. They've built a stable middle class. This Republican Party wants to dismantle those reforms that have built and supported, I would say, capitalism with security, have supported that middle class, have supported the working poor. There have always been debates about the size of government. But look at Eisenhower. He's built some of those bridges and roads in Boehner or McConnell's district. Nixon, the Clean Air Act. You have Republicans who understood the need for government. Today we have a Republican Party that wants to dismantle government and take us back to a time of great insecurity. You're on your own, Jack, seems to be the motto for a Republican Party that wants to dilute the possibility of reform, of opportunity for people who need jobs in this time of national emergency. So I don't think there's a lot of chance that this Republican Party will support anything, have any clue. And I wish the bloodlust that was shown at these debates for executions and for people dying without health insurance would turn into a lust for creating the jobs and the security that this country needs desperately if we're to restore that imperfect but always hopeful American dream we should aspire to.
So well put there. Jonathan Alter, you just heard the mayor of Columbus, Ohio, saying he wants John Boehner, the speaker, to work with the president, and that's something that really he hasn't done. What's the upside for the Republicans to say no to this jobs bill?
Well, because they maintain the same sense of discipline that has served them very well. Just no, no, no. It's been working for them. So why would they do anything different? The only reason, Ed, they would do anything different, and often the only reason anyone does anything different in politics, is when the people force them to, when the people speak. And that's why it's so important that people respond in support of this bill. Obama has thrown down the gauntlet. Now it's up not just to progressives, but to anybody who doesn't want to see the New Deal repealed, as Katrina so eloquently put it. It's up to all of them to now get behind this. And I think we could use a little Lyndon Johnson muscle, too. This is a situation where you have labor supports it, obviously. The Chamber of Commerce, business, supports this infrastructure. The only folks who aren't supporting it are the politicians in the Republican Party. So when he goes into their districts and states, I think what he needs to say to the folks there is, look, if you don't want it, you won't get it. And if the bill passes and, you know, there's not buy-in from your local politicians, it'll be very hard to bring these projects to Ohio. So in other words, John Boehner, your Republican senator, your Republican congressman, he's taking money out of your pocket by opposing this bill. And that's the connection that hasn't quite been made, that by standing in the way of this legislation, they are standing in the way of you getting a job. And this, by the way, is why it's so important, Ed. It's so important that Obama not do what you just suggested and say the Republicans will never support this. I'm giving up. You know, they're just going to stop me at any opportunity. Well, now's
not the time to do it. No, I'm not saying that now is the time to do it, but I think that day's coming. I think the day, I don't believe the Republicans are going to work with him on anything, but I do believe that day is coming when the president is going to turn to the American people and say, look, I've done everything I can do. I've offered everything I can. I mean, he put on the table the other night Social Security, Medicare reform. We all know reforms are cuts.
I mean,
and so I think that there has been a...
That day will come, Ed, when the,
I was going to say, does John Boehner, I'm picking up on what Jonathan said, does John Boehner and Mitch McConnell, do their constituents want their Social Security and Medicare dismantled? What kind of lives do they want for their children, for their families? And I think you know, Ed, that there is a movement beginning in this country. You have it inside the House with Jan Schakowsky's good bill. You have it outside with the Rebuild the Dream movement that is launching from below.
Sure.
President Obama is a pragmatic president, and as such, he should understand that the people at his back are a countervailing force to the establishment money and power inside a city that at the moment is a swamp. We need to retake a government that works for the people and not just for the 1% of the 1% and by the 1%.
Jonathan Alter, Katrina Vanden Heuvel, great to have you with us tonight. We could talk for hours on this. We will do it again. Thanks so much. Remember to answer tonight's question there at the bottom of the screen. I want to know what you think. Next up, the moment in last night's debate that defined the Republican response to health care in America. I'll talk with a man who predicted the moment almost 2 years ago. There are shocking numbers out about poverty in this country. We'll talk to Senator Bernie Sanders about what happened to shared sacrifice. That's next. Stay with us.